Good morning, everyone. Like in the last class, we are trying to focus on the Spring Boot example. I identified we are having some problem with the validation example. So that is also we'll look into it today. And later we'll move on to the writing the one code operation using REST APIs here. And now what I will do, I will try to create one packages here. Along with the packages, we are going to create information that is called book related information we are going to create. This is a model class I want to make. And inside this particular book, what I am going to write? So little bit slow my system. So give me 2 minutes. So it's going to rectify. So once this particular building workspace is completed, we'll try to define the properties of this particular book. Okay. And we will define ID of the book, string author, title of the book, and description. Okay. So we'll try to define price. We generated the setters and getters here. Okay. Now we'll go back to this particular pom.xml. So first what we will do, we'll try to change, like we'll try to add remaining starters here. Yesterday we added only one starter, that is nothing but web. So today we are going to add another starters. Okay. So we added only one starter called web, right? Now we'll try to add another starters here. What are the another starters we are going to add? We'll try to add the starters called JPA as well as H2 database. So JPA as well as H2 database. So once this particular building workspace is completed, what we can do? We'll try to add annotation example here. Okay, still it's building. Okay. Now we'll go back to this particular book. Let me make this class as a entity. So we can work on the table, the same name, and do ID annotation, generated value. Sorry. Okay, we'll make auto. Remaining, I'm going to add columns. So this is then a model class we implemented. Now what we can do? So we'll create a one service class here. Which service we can work? Something called book service. Inside this particular book service, I want to return book here. Book object. So this is a one interface. What we can do, we'll try to implement this interface. Book service IMPL. Okay, book service IMPL is completed. Finally, we'll create book repository. Which package I'm taking? Repository. And this package is going to extend JPA repository, and type here we are going to work on the book, and the ID type we are making long. So let me make this particular interface as a repository. Service. Book repository. Sorry. Auto-wire. Okay. Book. So we implemented service, repository. We'll go back to the controller. Here, REST controller, and after that, what we can do? Public insert book. Using this particular service, which service we are going to work? That is called book service, and we need to make auto void using this particular reference insert book. Okay, simply we return the same book here, and insert book, one path I'm specifying here, post. Okay, so this is we can specify now. So which database we are working? That is called H2 database. To to work on the H2 database, we need to specify some configuration. Go back to here inside the application dot property file. So we need to specify some configuration information. We need to specify some configuration information. So that is called Spring Data Source. Let me save here. What happened? Basically, we are expecting the proposal here. The remaining information here we are going to get. Okay. So we are not finding it. Okay, we are finding. Hmm? Hmm? Who is- Can you mute? Who is unmuted? Observe here data source, and after the data source, we can work on the URL. So this is the DBCP2 URL. URL. Okay, here we need to specify JDBC colon H2 H2 colon file, and here we need to specify the database called DB. And after that, so we need to specify the driver class name. We need to specify the driver class name. Here, so which database we are going to specify, and what is the name of the driver class? Initially, in the last example, we are going to work on the Postgres database, and we specify the Postgres database related information. But now, which database we are working here? H2 database. Getting the point. So now, the driver class name here, org dot h2 dot driver. So this is the driver spring dot username, spring dot username. So you can specify username SA, password. The password I'm giving password only. So Spring dot, here I'm going to specify dilate here. Spring dot JPA dot Spring dot JPA dot data source hyphen. So we are not finding. So here we need to specify the dilate information. That is nothing but database platform. What platform we are going to work here? The dilate here, H2 dilate here. Something called org hibernate dot dilate dot H2 dilate. So this is the information we need to specify, and whenever we are working with this particular H2 database, one more we need to specify something called here console. We need to enable this particular console here, and once we enable, then only we can able to see the particular console information here. Okay, so first we'll check whether this particular console is enabled or not. Okay, now we provided the database configuration information. Let me save. So application is running here. We are getting okay, application started, but we are getting an exception here. A file path that implicitly related to the current working directory. Okay, so basically that is related to our URL here. So let's change the URL. So instead of file, what I can do, simply I can change any information. TestDB. Again, I am trying to run the same example here. Okay, application is started. You can check here H2 console available at H2 console. So the database available, this is the database location here, it is available. Now we'll see First, we'll check with the H2 console here. To open the H2 console, first what we need to do, we need to go to this particular port here. Localhost. Here the H2 console is open and it says the username, password is password. And what is the database URL? TestDB. So we'll check test connection. Connection is successful. We'll connect. Oh, what happened? Password. Okay. The database is connected here. Right. Now, so we are not going to save the password. So this is the by default, the H2 database will look like. You can check here, the book is created with ID, author, description, price, title. So these are the fields. Right. Now, what we can do here, we'll go back to our application, not this, right? We'll go back to our application. Now, what we can do here, we need to run our application, right? To run our application, what exactly we need to do here? In the home controller, we provided the inserted book with the post request. Now, let me go back to here. So, Postman extension. Can we get the Postman extension or not here? Okay. Still it is trying to add. Why it is not coming? Basically, I did not downloaded the Postman extension here. So I want to copy from this particular browser. So it's not working here. So we'll try to refresh one more time here. Okay. Postman is loading. It's taking some time to load. Okay. Now what I can do, what is our URL? Localhost insert book. Okay. And what we need to specify here, what we need to specify here. So simply we need to specify the headers first. We need to specify the headers. Later we'll check on the how exactly this is going to work here. Content type, application JSON, inside the body. So we need to specify some raw data here. We need to specify some raw data here. And the raw data, so we'll check what are the properties are available. So today my laptop is very slow. It's taking some time. We'll check author only. Title, and description, something description, price. So price we can give. So to just simply we need to check whether this particular data inserting or not. Okay, so this is the data I'm passing, and this is the URL. Okay, the post request we are giving here, and let me send the request here. Okay, so data is not inserted. The default values we are getting here. The default values we are getting here. We'll go back to console here. We'll check here. Okay, request is received here. So this is nothing but the dispatcher solid initialize is nothing but the request is received. But if the request is received, whatever we given the data has to become here as a response. We are getting 200. So first we'll check in the database. What is the query we to run the particular database here? Select star from books. Not books, only book. Run this query. We can see ID is inserted, but remaining objects are null here. ID is inserted, remaining objects are null. So we need to debug why the remaining objects are null. So to debug, what we can do, we will make in the debug mode. Still it is trying to start here. What happened? So still it's taking long time. Eclipse is not responding. Okay, so it's going to launch here. But here you can observe here, this is the predefined database which is provided by the Spring Boot. And now you can observe here, whenever we are adding the particular S2 database related jar, the database is available. And here only what we need to specify, we need to specify to configuration information. So that's we added in the particular application.property file. So what happened? Timeout exception we are getting. Observe here, this is the URL. You can create any name of the database, right? Driver, we need to specify the same. So password you can create whatever you want, but username is SA only. This is the dialect. But here, what we are doing here, to identify using the console, we need to enable this particular console. We'll check this time why the particular error is coming. Sorry, the data is not inserting. So it's running little bit slow. Okay, application started. Now what we can do, we'll make a breakpoint here, and I'm going to send one more request here. The request is received. We don't want to change the perspective. The line number 22, we have received our request here. Okay, so this object, whatever we specified, the object we given, we're getting as a null here. So because of this, the data is storing with the null. Okay, we'll try to change the value. Let me stop the server. Let me make one annotation here that is called request body. We'll try to start one more time here in debug mode. Okay, application started. Okay, bad request we are receiving. So why we are getting the bad request? Pushback input stream line number 5. Okay, resolved something here. HTTP message not readable exception. Okay. So basically, the problem here, the data type conversion here, double from string. So double from string. So because of this, we are getting here. Let me change here. And send one more request here. You can observe here. So whatever we specified, those information we are getting. Right. Now we'll go back to here. Again, I'm trying to run. Oh, so because we stopped the server, so that's the reason again is asking to reload. So again, connecting here. Select start from book. We can able to see record inside this particular S2 database. Getting the point. So this is a way we can communicate with the S2 database. Now what we can do, and we'll try to check with the remaining properties. So something called, so we are trying to insert the record, and now I will change the some understandable format, some author. So what is the name of the author? We can specify some book. So we'll change some which book is the better. Let me make ABC the name of the author. Title is nothing but we'll make our Spring application. Okay, Spring Boot book. So second request I'm giving here, and the second request also saved into the database, and we'll make something called, and here we'll make Hibernate book. Okay, price is same for each and every book here. Okay, these three books are enough. Now run the same. We are able to see three records here. But after that, now what we can do, we'll try to focus on the remaining methods here. We'll try to focus on the remaining method. What are the remaining methods we are going to have? Go back to the book service. So first method we specified book method. Now update book. Okay. So here how we can update here? How we can update? Based on the ID. Based on the ID we can update or not. Simply I will copy the same here. And one more, delete book. ID. Based on the ID we can delete. And the last one here, get book. So this is the one more method, and the last one here we want to return list of books. We want to return list of books here, something called get all books. These are the methods. So we'll try to terminate the server, and we'll go back to the service MPL. We will implement all the methods. Okay. Now what we can do is, first we'll check with the service using this particular repository. Using this particular repository, what we can do here? Now focus on this, the get all books here. Find all. So this method is going to return all the books here. You can observe the return type here, find all books. Right. Now what we can do here? So we don't want to write this, simply return. Okay. So the find all, using this particular find all method, we are going to get the record. But now the same repository dot, we want to get only by ID. Find by ID. Here we are having this particular find by ID. We can check here. It's going to return some optional record here. Getting the point. And from the optional, we'll check any option is there. Get. Using this, we can return. This is the way the particular get book based on the ID we are going to load. Now delete book. Now what we can do to delete the book here? We are going to have method here. Repository dot delete by ID. Again, the same thing is going to return. We can check the method here. Let me save here. What happened? Okay. Basically, I want to check what exactly the method is trying to return. What happened? Okay. So today, very slow this Eclipse here. Here it is a void method. So we cannot return anything here. Right. So simply in this case, we can return null only. We can return only null. Okay. The last one we are having update. Last one having update here. Save and flush. So what is the exact method to update the record? Find by find all. We don't have any update here. We need to use save only. Okay. The save method will return book object here. Simply we can return like. Okay, we implemented all of the information here. In the book service sample we implemented. The same thing we need to implement it in a particular controller. Right. The second one, first we'll call the all the books here. Today is very slow. Get all books and service dot get all books return. What we can specify here? Simply get all books here. We can specify the get request. Right. Let me save this example. Okay, still it not responding. God. Meanwhile, we'll copy. Okay. So I made a request here. Once the service is started, we'll try to send a request here. So still it is starting an application. Okay. Application is started. What happened? So we are not getting any records here. So where we did mistake here? Get all books. We specified the path and everything same. Localhost get all books. Okay. Okay. Using the find all also we can load. Okay. Okay. What we can will debug this why the data is not printed here, and we can work on the particular SQL query, the show underscore SQL query. We can specify how exactly the query is generating. Okay, so that is we can check in tomorrow, because my Eclipse is today, it's little bit very slow, it's not working. And if you are having any questions, you can ask me. What long time? So any questions regarding this today class?
If you want to write our own custom queries, we can write in Hibernated. You can write here also in Spring Boot also using JPA.
Yeah, you can write it using the query annotation. You can write it, whatever the annotation you want, whatever the query you want to write.
Okay.
Okay. So if we don't have anything, we can see tomorrow the remaining methods. With the debug, we'll check why the data is not loading here.
After this Spring Boot is completed, what topics you are going to cover, Suresh?
This batch is going to complete.
Very soon, within 2-3 classes, this will be done, right?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe as I requested initially to you the design patterns, can you just cover that also, like one day?
Yeah, I will explain.
And also, I think I'm asking this regarding the interview perspective. So, is Spring or Spring Boot anything they may ask about multi-threading also in interviews? Generally, we hear multi-threading one concept word will come here.
No, actually, basically the multi-threading questions you are going to get when they are developing a multi-threaded application, but it is not related to Spring or Spring Boot.
Okay. Only use these frameworks we can develop multi-threaded application.
Any application we can develop using this Spring Boot. Not only multi-threading, anything it's going to support. Entire Java, whatever the features are available in Java, all the features are going to be supported by the Spring and Spring Boot.
Okay.
Okay, so we can see it tomorrow.